Well, listen. Let me try and put it another way. Let me try and put it another way. Okay, I want to do a few things. I want to make it so that there's no really heavy pushback against hard content being added to the game, right? And while doing so, we then find people to increase the long-term population of that content by having people understand it and eventually get better at it. By finding the people who want to learn and who are mechanically engaged, but making sure the players who aren't can also enjoy it.
It's pain. I actually have not done Dragon's End in at least a couple of weeks, I think. I've done it with Darren's, though.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a week or two ago.
We need to start doing it daily again.
I don't know. I just have bad associations with it, though. Like, people get really upset.
Well, because they fail.
Yeah, but then they just complain about it no matter what.
Yes. But we must show them the way, Sneb. Well, I think... When I say show them the way, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Here's the deal. And stop me if I'm wrong here, Sneb. I would say that in any game, actually, not just Guild Wars 2, you've got two groups of people. One group is going to actually try and improve. The other group, they don't give a fuck. They're essentially leeching, right? They're along for the ride. And what we need to do is make sure that there are enough people basically carrying that the people who would write forum posts complaining about basically Dragon's End hard farming them, they never lose. We need to make so many groups that everyone gets carried. That's my mission here. Because hear me out, Sneb.
Does that teach them anything? No,
but that's not the goal.
I think I have like the most twisted perspective on this. I really do.
This is no. You're assuming that everyone can be taught or hasn't. Look, it takes two to tango, right? Would you agree with this statement? If someone has no interest in learning, then there's no point in trying to teach them.
Yes, they also then shouldn't complain about failure.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that. But the thing is, you're telling them to do something that's never going to happen. So, look, what I'm trying to do here is identify the variables that we have control over and the knobs we can twist, okay, to try to make the situation better. The goal, right, the goal with this stuff is not to actually make them change, because realistically that's not going to happen, and that's also not something that we have direct control over. The goal is to make so many groups that everyone ends up in a group that wins.
Yeah, but look, I hate to do this to you, but you're basically arguing that you want to just be feeding people fish and not teaching them to fish.
No, I want to do both at the same time. You got to understand the situation here, right? Everyone wants to get the fish. Everyone wants to get in on the action and obtain the fish. Now, there are some people who you can teach to fish themselves, right? And then they'll go on. But there are some people who have no interest in learning to catch the fish. All they want to do is get the fish.
Well, then why would we feed them fish? They don't want the fish.
They do want the fish. They just don't want to put in any effort to obtain. They don't want to learn how to. They want the fish, but they don't want to.
They don't really want the fish.
No, they no. They absolutely can. For example, I
should just go to the supermarket and purchase the fish.
I want to be the supermarket. But
So are you selling DE
a free supermarket. A free supermarket. Okay, I want to be a free that's actually a perfect analogy, Sneb. Because I love pizza. I fucking love pizza, and I love breakfast food. But honestly, I have way more interest in someone else making me the breakfast food and the pizza than making it myself. Okay? In fact, I have almost zero interest in making it myself because I'm a lazy fuck. Okay?
Yeah, but the difference is that there is an exchange here, right? So they value the fish or the breakfast or the pizza or whatever more. What I'm saying is that you don't really want something if you're not willing to either A, exchange goods for it, or B, put the effort in to obtain it.
I don't necessarily agree with that. You can want something and not you can really want something and not want to spend money on it. You could argue,
I'm saying, like,
but the thing is, no, I think now we get into the nitty gritty, because you're saying that to an extent that's invalid, right? That in a way there's a contradiction there, and I don't disagree, but you can actually experience those thoughts and emotions at the same time. So you're saying, you're saying that you can
want something in, and then you can want something, but only want it if you have to put in no effort.
Yes.
But my challenge is that really truly wanting something? Like, how badly do you really want it if you're not willing to put in any effort or exchange anything for it?
You can say that they don't really want it that badly, but I don't really view that as actually relevant. They still want it, and the wanting is the relevant part to me. Not how badly they want it. It's the fact that they want it at all is what's relevant. I would.
Yeah, well, if they want it at all, then my approach is to show them that they want it enough that they're willing to work for it.
But that's never going to happen.
And if it's not going to happen, then I don't think they want it bad enough.
But the thing is,
like,
though,
if somebody said, I want to be a doctor, but I don't want to go to school at all, and I also do not want to take any tests, and I also do not want to pay any money.
Here's the problem, though, is that
what would you say to that?
Well, that's like a thing is, though, that kind of thing is a problem because you actually need some kind of qualification to do this, right? But this is
the same thing as if somebody was like, I would like to go bowling, but I do not want to get in the car. I also do not want to lift the bowling ball.
Here's the difference, Sneb. Okay, if more players get the fish, if in this analogy, more people being doctors directly benefits you and has no real downside, right? The problem
is the downside. The downside is happening literally right now, because look at the evolution of this we just experienced. All the doctors went in, everybody went and was like, okay, we can do Dragon's End. All the doctors leave. Now suddenly Dragon's End is way harder, and people are upset that they can't do it because none of them learned to be a doctor.
Yes, but here's do you know what the difference is, though? Okay, here's where things get a little bit more complicated. Is that would have happened anyway, even if you try to teach people, because not everyone's going to become a doctor. It's just not going to happen. And secondly, do you know the best way to get more people to be doctors in this world? It's basically just hitting as many people as possible and making sure that people can get through it either way, right? Because the thing is that if you want to get more doctors, you need more people basically living in the same house, basically, as the doctors that currently exist, even if they aren't actually, even if they're fake doctors, it doesn't matter, actually, right? What I'm trying to get at here...
There's one nuance we're missing here, though. It's that if people don't want it bad enough and you're just carrying them through the thing, then at some point they think that they're qualified, but they're not, because they haven't learned or experienced anything.
Well,
and that's what I'm trying to get at here, is that if we just go and carry a bunch of people through, then we've never helped them understand what's actually going on. You're saying that mere exposure is going to work? But now we have people, both experienced and non-experienced, that jump in and like half AFK or leech Dragon's End because it's gotten easier over time and they don't have to be as engaged.
Yeah, but perfect is the enemy of good here. Like, you're looking at this incredibly binary way. Why can't we do both? Because
What do you mean?
Why can't we carry a bunch of people while simultaneously teaching as many people as we can?
Well, yeah, you can, but
that's what I'm saying. We
just got to go in there and like. Originally, you're like, we just got to go and carry all of them.
Yes, we do. We need to carry everyone, and then we teach people simultaneously. I think the carrying, though, is actually just as important as the teaching, because if you don't carry people, then you're going to have a huge amount of discontent, right? So it's a practical necessity. To do this.
You gotta go.
I just think it's so complicated. I just think it's really complicated because it's very difficult to teach people in open world about things. I find it difficult because they just don't have any measurements. So, I mean, you can teach them the mechanics fairly easily, but it's very difficult on a whim with 50 people to isolate one person. You're kind of just shotgunning it, which still can be effective to an extent.
Well, you have to shotgun. What I'm saying is, what's the alternative, right? Because the thing is, doing it one person at a time, you're not going to do anything, right? It has to be like this massive operation, pretty much, where you're just like a huge amount of volume, just completely cramming people into this massive funnel. That's pretty much how it has to go. And I think you also have to, also understand that some people have absolutely no interest in ever learning, but they still want it. And here's the real thing. And honestly, I'm curious what you'll say about this, actually. Carrying people, or rather, essentially giving the fish to people who don't want to learn how to fish, I think directly benefits you as well. And it's strictly good basically for the hardcore scene. Carrying people is strictly a good thing.
Wait. You think that carrying people is strictly a good thing?
Yes.
Oh, man, that just goes against everything I believe in. No.
Yup.
Not at all. Totally disagree.
I think you have to. Otherwise, I think you're going nowhere. You're going nowhere fast. Otherwise, because you'll lose that fight. If you're against basically carrying a good chunk of people and teaching who you can, you're essentially saying that you're going to actually put yourself in some way in opposition to the main group, right? Which is like the people who don't want to learn. That's the main group, right? And if you put yourself in opposition,
I'm happy to be in opposition to
then
that
you're
group.
going to
They
lose.
don't want it.
Then you're going to lose.
Well, I don't think I'm losing. I have 250 people in my Discord that all wanted to learn.
Look at the big picture. We're definitely losing. Are you kidding me? We're getting fucking destroyed. We're getting deleted. Okay, we barely exist, Sneb. We're getting fogged. We're an endangered species right now. We're some pandas.
But it's not. But we're only looking at one of the reasons why, right? This issue is so much more complicated than we're making it out to be, right? There are a multitude of reasons why people struggle with end game content or with more challenging content. Getting groups, knowing where to get groups, joining communities, knowing where to join communities, knowing how to lead, knowing how boons work, knowing how the game works, knowing how subgroups work, knowing how the command functionality works, knowing how guilds work, knowing how the boss works, knowing how mechanics work, colorblind mode. Like, I could list a million reasons why people struggle with content, and for each individual, the amount that those things impact them varies widely. There are people who, honestly, it's their attitude that most affects them, that they just believe that they can't, and so they never change. And like, I just think we're just oversimplifying this. There's a million reasons why people can't do Dragon's End, or why they find it difficult.
I think it is simple. Because I'm not even looking about why they can't. I don't care. I actually don't care if they can or can't. I don't even view that as relevant. Like, the only thing that I view as relevant is, are people having fun while doing this stuff? Right? And if people aren't having fun, then step one is making sure that they're having fun. Even if they don't understand and they don't get it, in my mind, it is simple, actually. The reason why people don't like this stuff is because they're not having fun.
Then why aren't they having fun?
Because they're losing.
That's what I would challenge.
Because they're losing.
Because they're losing. Why are they losing?
To me, irrelevant. Make them win.
Well, yeah, but if you just give the win,
but you know, no. But thing is, okay, right? No, let me talk. Let me talk for 5 seconds. Let me speak for 5 seconds. Okay, you first make them win, so they're having fun, and then you can go from there. Right? This is the key.
But that's literally what happens already. There's participation trophies in everything in open world. People haven't learned anything.
I'm saying
put one minuscule difficulty.
I'm saying do that. I'm saying do that. I'm saying do that in the hard content. Make people win so they're having fun, they're getting rewarded, they're having a good time, and then after that point, you can then move on and say, okay, let's figure out how to do this. Then you teach them how to fish. So in other words, you give them a fish and say, hey, look, let me teach you how to fish afterwards. But you gotta hit them with the fish first. In my mind. You whack
So you
them
want to
with the
slap
fish.
people with a fish?
Yes. You bludgeon
You
them.
want to hoist the tuna out of the water and go on a rampage and smack every new player with it.
Damn right. Yeah, 100%. Look, let's imagine that we have Dragon's End 2 and it's coming out with next expansion, End of Memes, right? This is how this would be the effective situation. Okay,
Braham explodes in the first episode.
Like the way I would love to see it go is literally 100 squads strong. Like so many comms from our community, Sneb, that every single player who automatically joins a map is in one of our squads. So no matter where you are, you're getting the fish. Because to me, number one thing is people do not give a fuck, and if they're not having fun, they're out. And so priority one is make sure everyone's having fun. And then you can start talking to people about
this is really interesting, because I already think that this occurs, though.
It doesn't. I'm saying it doesn't occur enough. It does occur, but not enough.
Whoa. Am I just totally not understanding this? Because essentially what you're saying is that people need to win in order to be encouraged to learn and keep going.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. Well, but they win all the time. Like, they literally win constantly. Every event is a gold medal. Every meta, except for literally 1 or 2.
No, okay, you aren't understanding.
In the entire game.
You aren't understanding. What I mean is, they need to win in content that requires mechanical understanding.
But isn't that why? Isn't that why they put the normal mode strikes and those sorts of things to enable people to win more?
Yes, and I actually think they do work surprisingly well in that regard. Actually, I think that's good.
God, I can't believe people agree with this. Like, because maybe I'm just coming from like an education background, and I'm thinking, you want me to give someone 100% on a test so that they will, or to pass them, right? And then they learn.
Well, here's the thing. This is a video game. In real life, I'd definitely be on your side 100%, right? But I'm speaking out from this purely on practicality. I'm speaking here, I don't care about what's technically the correct way to do it or anything like that. I only care about what's going to get the best result. That's it. I don't care about anything else. And I agree with you that in real life, where it's, you know, like, it's a test situation, it's going to, that is the way to go. For sure. But this isn't a test situation.
This is consequential. Like, look,
exactly,
I don't want people to get this twisted. It's not it's a game.
You're in trouble
now. It's not as consequential as real life. I'm just trying to make some kind of comparison here, because I'm not understanding, because my view is that if people constantly pass, they actually don't learn. If they win all the time, then they actually don't learn. Look, I failed an accounting test one time. You better believe I learned after that. If I had just passed, then I wouldn't have learned it, probably, because I didn't put the effort in.
Well, listen. Let me try and put it another way. Let me try and put it another way. Okay, I want to do a few things. I want to make it so that there's no really heavy pushback against hard content being added to the game, right? And while doing so, we then find people to increase the long-term population of that content by having people understand it and eventually get better at it. By finding the people who want to learn and who are mechanically engaged, but making sure the players who aren't can also enjoy it.
Okay.
That's my goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I suppose. I just don't have to agree with it still.
Yeah. To me, that is probably that's the only outcome that I see working out super well right, is basically an army of hard carries, making sure that everyone's having fun, and then people who want to learn will learn, people who don't won't. This is very much, I know it's a compromise, and it's not like this idealized way of how we want it to go, but to me, it's our best bet. I think, you know,
look,
I'm assuming because what
clarify this even further.
Yeah.
Let me, because people are trying to pick this apart.
Yeah,
Let me clarify
yeah,
this
look, Sneb is squirming. Okay.
No, this is just ridiculous.
Yep.
Okay, so think about this. If you put in a ton of effort and you pass the test and you never fail, great, makes sense. You put in a lot of effort. You like figured it out. There are people that won't fail raids very often because they prepare a lot ahead of time, right? Their chances of success are way higher. There are people that put in no effort and don't equip any gear, and they go in with their gray dagger and they get wiped over and over and over again. Then they have to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. What I'm saying is that if you get hit really, really hard and you're given... So the missing piece here is actually something the game doesn't do very well. If you fail and you're given feedback and can understand why, that will prompt you to learn.
What if I don't care about that? What if I don't care?
Well, if you don't care, then, like, I don't know. I just don't think people have a right to complain about something if they're not willing to put in any effort. It doesn't make any sense to me when people on the forums are like, yeah, this is way too hard. And I'll say something like, oh, well, have you ever, you know, gone to the wiki or asked questions about it or asked for help? And they go, no. Like, okay, well, it's not bad inherently that it's hard. It just means we have to, for this particular piece of content, this one piece, that we have to do like an extra step.
What if I don't care about that? What if I don't want to do that? What if I'll never do that?
Well, then it's okay that that content might not be designed for you.
But I'm gonna complain about it and get it nerfed. Because I'm the majority, it's gonna happen.
I just think that's inherently wrong.
What if it doesn't matter if it's inherently wrong because the company is here to make money?
Well, then we're only going to get a particular kind of content because that's what the majority wants. And we have to
okay,
accept
so logically, we should actually try then to find a solution that works within that set of parameters, right?
But that doesn't solve the problem.
You're not. We're treating the symptom here. We're not looking to solve the problem. Problem's not solvable, actually.
So you're just keeping somebody on life support.
Yes.
You're keeping endgame on life support.
Yes, correct.
You're just breathing in the copium so that it will last as long as possible. Is that what you're telling me? All right.
Because because the problem that you're talking about there, I don't think it's solvable, and I'm not even entirely sure if it's desirable to be solvable. Actually, to an extent, anyway. I don't feel like I have the right to tell other people how they should engage with a video game.
Well, no, of course you don't. Nobody does. I agree with that. People should play video games because they have fun. If they don't find a particular part of the game fun, they shouldn't engage with that content.
Yes, but
I honestly don't find PvP that much fun anymore. I just don't play PvP. I don't go and complain about PvP all day long every day on the forums.
That is totally fine, Sneb, but baked into that statement, you are saying I am never going to have a lot of content, and stuff like Dragon's End will never exist.
I mean, I don't mean to be doomer, but if the dominant demographic dislikes that kind of content, I think that we will always be the minority, right? And that even if we try to keep them on life support, that it doesn't solve the problem, so it sort of perpetuates that it's going to remain the same, no?
Well, I mean, to me, it's like, what's the alternative?
The alternative is that you individually help people so that they learn and grow and hope that that spreads and that the community stays as vibrant as possible.
But why not do that and also get as many people through it at the same time?
Well, you can, but I just don't know that that's quite as effective because I think the shotgun approach isn't as potent as like picking a few people and like really helping them. I think generally it's important, though. I want to make that clear. I think it's important that if you're in meta events, you're like, hey, like I'm putting people in subgroups. This is why, because that just helps spread information. But if you want to get down to the nitty gritty and make more leaders, which is really what you want, because you want more people really engaged and understanding, so that more groups are formed, so that more groups do that same thing and say, hey, this is how subgroups work, blah, 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 blah. The only way to do that is like really mentor a few people. And I don't feel like that's as easy to do all at the same time.
I think it's doable. I think it can be done. I think that actually we did a really good job of it, actually, I think, with Dragon's End, no? We saw a huge amount of, like, new commanders and, like, new event people. It wasn't enough, but it was huge, right? I think a massive amount of people started to engage. I think it worked.
Yeah, but where is that? So I feel like every time that we've done this in the community, whether it's with raids or Dragon's End or whatever, it's kind of short-lived. Like, it works for a while and then it stops.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be curious how you would address that then.
I think you have to just build structures that hopefully won't do that. And you keep you have to try and find people who are very, very dedicated to it.
Yeah.
Takes a long time.
I think people are really trying to misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you really want to help someone, it actually, like, if you really want to get somebody to learn to be leading an event or something, you have to spend more time with them. You don't alienate them. You don't, like, segregate people or whatever. What you do is you focus on them and give them your attention. Say, hey, anybody that wants to learn this, I'm willing to help them. And just make yourself available. And then spend the time needed with them. I just think it's difficult to balance sort of training a bunch of people in that depth and having 50 people. Like, you can't train 50 people like that.
The way I see it is like building a wall, right? And this is actually really my approach to raid training, right? You don't... I found this to be very, very effective. Certainly with people, especially with people who are very, very new, is that you don't get them to learn the fight all in one go. Like, you don't learn every single mechanic before you kill it for the first time. You'll learn a bunch of stuff, then you kill it, then you move on to the next boss, right? And then the next week they do it again, and they learn a little bit more, right? And the next one they learn a little bit more, right? The key for me is that you just have people winning, right? Like this, I feel very strongly about this, actually. To me, the number one thing we should be doing is making sure that players are having success with this content.
I think we actually agree more. I think that we're just hung up on one point. I think you probably want to carry people more than I do.
Yes, I am.
So
I am
I want to
okay
set
with
people
carrying
up for success, but I do that in a different way than you do. That's it.
I mean, I want to set people up for success, but I'm also perfectly okay with people who don't want that. And I'm perfectly okay with also including those players as well and carrying them.
Yeah. See, I guess, like, this sounds kind of harsh, but to me that sounds like when I go into a group project in university and 4 of the people do nothing and I do the entire project, and at the end we all get the same grade. I mean, I don't like that. Well, the thing is, I would rather, even if I'm doing 50% of the project and each of them are doing like 12% or something, I'd be fine with that. But I guess I'm just saying I don't want to carry people so hard that they don't do or learn anything.
I actually really like that analogy because to me, I would completely bite that bullet. And I've been there. I mean, I actually have been there, funnily enough, with group projects. But, like, what's the alternative? If we get hung up on the fact that we're going to say, well, everyone should do the work, what are you going to do? Are you going to, if your grade depends on this, which one of those two actions are you going to take? Are you going to say, well, I'm going to do 60% of the work because you guys should do the other 40%? Or are you actually just going to say, you know what? This fucking sucks. It's dog shit. I don't like it, but I've got no choice. I have to finish this. Otherwise I'm going to fail my exam, right? You're going to say, you're going to eat it, right? You're going to eat that in that case, right? And just carry the group project.
Yeah, well,
you could not like it, and I would agree with you.
What I did in every one of those situations was ask for them to be removed from the group and do the project alone.
Yeah, because I
didn't think it was fair that they received contributions from my work. But anyway, yeah, I think it is a game, and that's the point. Is one of the issues that we really have is that a lot of people want to play, and I think that's really important, but a lot of people aren't willing to start their own group, and then they want one person to do everything for them. And I just think that it requires just a little bit more attention than that, right? Like if you want to join, like be engaged, like talk in the squad chat, or be willing to say you don't know something, or be willing to learn. I think one of the problems we have is that a lot of people want every piece of content to be really, really passive, and that's not good, because then it puts a lot of pressure on a select few people in each group to do everything. And when those people get burnt out, or when they're frustrated or whatever, then no groups happen, right?
I completely agree with that, but I guess my my view just says, yeah, I'm expecting that to happen sometimes, and I'm going to play around it. I'm not going to remove people from the group project, because actually in this case you can't, because here's the... I think that's a very reasonable response, by the way, Sneb, to want people removed. I think that's actually fair, just to be super clear. I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do. In fact, it probably is a good thing to do. But here we can't do that. In this reality that we're living in Guild Wars 2...
There's no way to control for it either. It's open world.
And this is what I mean. I'm just going to say, we're going to...
we're putting a ton of pressure on the leaders. Like, think about this.
Yes, correct.
I mean, we're going in circles here. You're putting a ton of pressure.
Uh-huh.
You have a whole bunch of people that don't want to engage, and you're saying, who cares? Let's get them through and just hope that they engage. And then the one person who's the only person that knows how to do subgroups is like begging people to learn. They're doing this day in and day out. And I'm not talking about myself, because I'm not doing this. There are people in the community that are doing a ton of work. But at some point, those people want a break. And when they take a break, who's going to do it?
We want to have more.
You know?
We want to have more people. And I don't disagree that it puts a lot of pressure. I think it does. I think there's a reason why so many people burn out and can't, they implode, right? There's a reason. It's fucking intense. It requires, neurons of steel to handle this. And it's not, and I'm not saying that you just hope people engage. No, you actively look for people. I'm always looking for people like Will, people like Darren's, people like Regal Power, right? All the people in the Discord doing stuff. I'm always on the lookout for, holy shit, this guy's super switched on, right? He's like super with it. I think we should be, we should be like a fucking eagle. An eagle, Sneb, eagle dawn, or a goose maybe, right? Look. Just flying around looking for people who are into it, and always providing resources, trying to help people. Look, all I'm saying is that people like Darren's and Will and so on, and yourself, are actually the counter to this. The only counter. Because when you do like a run with Will, like Will has never seen Dragon's End fail once. That's actually pretty interesting, isn't it? He has never seen it fail even once. Think how many players in his group, right? Were essentially passive players, right? Think how many there were. And is that really such a bad thing that he probably carried a bunch of these passive players or whatever? Like through that? Hard carried them through that?
It's not that it's like a morally reprehensible thing. I'm just saying I don't think it accomplishes much, right?
I think it does. I think it accomplishes a lot.
I just don't feel like it accomplishes what you're hoping that it accomplishes.
I think it's actually really powerful, because those players had fun. And that means that those players don't hate Dragon's End. They're not going to complain about it because they had fun.
Yeah, then they go into a group where Will isn't there, and they go, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Look, I'm saying this because I've had like a similar experience, right? I used to raid train every day because I was like, I just got to get more people into raids. Like, I just got to get everyone into raids. And I would like I'd take like 5 people, and we would just like push people who had never done it and just sort of like whiz through the mechanics and just get them through the raid. Mm-hmm. And then I tried to get people to like use the LFG more. I would go and be like, oh, like, have you done any raids? And they're like, no, I refuse to do any raids without you because they are not successful. And I was like, well, that's not what I was hoping would happen.
But that's not the goal. That's not the goal, though, right? The goal is to generate engagement. And one raid is more than 0.
That was my goal, was to generate engagement. I wanted
that's
them
not
to
my
engage
goal.
With the raids. Then...
I mean, look, getting people to actually improve is not really... not everyone, anyway. Obviously, I want people to get better. You know, I do agree that you do have this issue where if you do kind of create this environment where people can get the content with you, but not with other people, then it's like, well, they're potentially gonna have like, oh shit, hang on. It's not good, but in my mind, it's better than only failing, right? Like, let's imagine that. Let's imagine
if they were
the
only wait. If they were only failing, then that's a game design problem. That means that the game is not telling them why they're failing, or not making people aware, or not presenting any evidence whatsoever why someone is failing.
I don't agree.
So they can't adapt.
I don't agree with that, actually. Because what if they'll never adapt? What if they never adapt ever? Because they have no interest in doing so.
Do you think that that both teams should win every time?
I think that running running friendly games where there isn't this... Having participation rewards for tournaments works really well, actually, funny enough. It's a big part of why automated tournaments do pretty well, actually. And making it so that the game, increasing people's probability of winning and increasing their win rate, yes, will make them
Wait. No, we're not talking about participation trophies here, right? We're talking about the binary win-loss, right? There is win and lose in PvP, and Suwon is the same, right? You win or you lose. Are you saying that even in something like PvP, that we should, if we want people to engage with it and have a good time, that both sides should just win?
I mean, it doesn't really make any sense in PvP because there will always be like one loser. Whereas there's not really, it's not really like that in PvE, right? There doesn't have to be a loser. In PvP, there kind of has to be a loser. In PvE, not really. For example, the outcome where the players win, there's no loser, right? Where the boss wins, everyone loses. There's no winner, actually, in that situation, right? Unless we're kind of trolling, like when me and Frosty are saying, like, oh yeah, like level 1 rat can win. I mean, yeah, but it doesn't actually win. Not in that sense, anyway. It actually, there's no win. There's only the players have an outcome there. The game doesn't really have an outcome. But in PvP, I'm actually 100%, by the way, okay to bite the bullet on this. I think that creating friendly matches where the emphasis is taken away from the outcome and placed more on having fun will increase engagement, yes. Adding participation.
Isn't that unranked?
Well, I mean, the problem with unranked is that you don't have pips, right?
So just give people pips.
If you, I mean, you do that in ranked, yeah. That's how ranked works.
Okay,
if you lose, you still get pips. Yeah, you still get rewards.
There should be no discernible difference between winning and losing in PvP rewards-wise. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think that would create that would probably create a very unhealthy dynamic in PvP for sure. But
so in PvE, there should be no discernible difference between winning and losing?
No, of course not. There absolutely should be. That's not really the topic of my argument. I'm saying that it's not. Look. Do you know why people quit Classic WoW, Sneb? A big part of it is humiliation. And the humiliation is, oh my god, I died to level 7 crab. Right? And now the game is telling me I have to walk 10 minutes to get my corpse after dying to level 7 crab. That feels pretty bad. You've got to be able to handle that on a mental level. Not many people can handle that on a mental level. Okay. And you need to be able to do that. And removing... Frosty has arrived, okay? And basically removing, okay? Removing the kind of negative stuff by trying to make it so that people are basically winning as much as possible is going to dramatically increase retention rates. Yeah, it's why I want to do stuff like... it's why I want to do stuff like dynamic tournaments, right, with drafts. So to kind of break teams up and have a rating cap so people can play games that they can actually win and get rewards from, right? Yeah, I want to do that. That's why I have the open bracket and the invitation, right? That's, by the way, why, Sneb, we're doing an amateur raiding party, because we want people to win. Right? That is our goal with that. Why are we doing that? We want people to win.
No, but there's still a winner and a loser, though. Like, if somebody gets first and somebody gets second, second has still lost.
Yeah.
Even though we're going to spread the rewards out, that's incentivizing participation. There's still a winner and a loser.
So,
Yeah,
Teapot,
but-
I got a question for you then.
Give me the juice.
So, anything for Suwon. If you auto win, right? What would be the point of the event at that point? So the entire point, like, if you have a fail state for something, that's usually something to indicate, like, hey, you as an individual, you as a group, the participants need to improve. So you have something to tell you, like, hey, you can do better because we did not make an unbeatable boss. Now, if you make it so it's just participation, you participate, you auto win, you automatically get the loot at the end. What happens to that loot? If everybody who just remotely looks at it gets it, and you get it every single time, and there is no fail state, it makes those rewards,
you guys,
it makes those rewards not worth anything. It's like there's no reason to do it.
You guys are slightly misinterpreting what I'm saying here. I'm not saying this is good in a moral, ethical, or design standpoint. I'm saying this is desirable because it will work.
Yeah, I know, but let's say they make
so,
it so you automatically win, no matter what happens.
Look, here's the thing, right? Thing is, no, again, you're talking about something that I don't care about, right? You're saying, is this good design, or does it make it pointless? And I'm going to say yes. Of course, I'm going to say yes to that, but that's not anything to do with my argument.
Yeah, as a player. So you're talking about from a community stance, not from a game stance.
Correct. Yes.
Like, we should be showing up to help players out to be.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yes,
but
that's my entire
What you guys
position.
were talking before, the PvP comparison, where it's just like, should everybody win? Well, that's that's changing the game design.
No, I mean, I'm saying that if you actually, I'm biting that bullet and saying that if you try and make it go in that direction, it will feel better and you'll probably get more people playing. Yes. There's a reason why they give you pips and gold if you lose. There's a reason why you get a participation reward for playing in daily AT and playing in monthly AT. Yes. PvP and PvE are strictly different. And look, hey, do you know what really backs up my argument here? What game mode is always super fucking dead in MMOs? Yeah, PvP, right? Why? Because of exactly this. Because there is always a strict loser. In PvE, there doesn't have to be a loser, right? The players, because the players are all working together, right? They're all on the same team. So this means that if you win, you win. If you lose, then everyone loses. So if you win, everyone wins. If you lose, everyone loses. And I'm saying that we should...
I think it's the sting of the loss.
Yes,
it's just the sting of the loss.
In level 7 crab. Look, I mean...
no, listen. Suwon, if Suwon didn't have that extreme, like... If they got rid of the buff, right, from doing the events, and they balanced Suwon around that, so that you could just show up, and then the pre-event was like a little bit faster... Let's say the whole event is like 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 to 30 minutes, right? Yeah. 20 to 30. People wouldn't be as mad.
Correct.
Because if they... And the thing is, it's on a timer, too. If they could execute it whenever they wanted, and it only took 20, 30 minutes, people would be way less mad. It's the fact that they have to go there early, get a group, go through the whole event crap, do the pre-event. Now they get to the boss, and 4 minutes in, they realize they're going to lose because their squad isn't prepared.
So
that sucks, right? That's not fun. That is anti-fun.
Yes. And so we should counter that.
When you're saying that everybody's a loser if it loses, some people in chat are saying, so if the event only took 15, 20 minutes instead of 2 hours, because I do agree that, like, if you go at the very, very start, you're there the entire time, and then due to no fault of your own, but due to the fault that the 50 people there couldn't beat it because organizational wise they're terrible or something like that, or people don't want to do boons, and you wipe and you fail it, yeah, that absolutely feels terrible because you just feel like you wasted 2 hours and you got nothing. If they changed that to 20 minutes, like, so it basically was just a fight, like none of the pre-events.
Okay.
You could do the pre-events.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I've got it.
Rewards,
So,
but it doesn't affect the fight.
So great. And this is my response to that. Awesome. Let's recommend that to ArenaNet, and now let's try and counter the problem in the game through our means. Awesome.
Yeah. So in the meantime, like, if we the community helps out so that, you know, the community would eventually why are they always putting us in 5-man groups and they eventually want some stuff?
Yes.
That's fine. So I don't agree with saying that everybody just gets free stuff.
No, but I never said that. Yeah. I never said that. Ever.
But you kind of did.
No, I didn't. No, not at all. I said we should make the groups win, right?
But that's giving them free stuff.
No, it's not the same thing.
No, okay, I understand.
It's
Teapot
not the same thing.
Saying that we as a community make it so that the win rate is better.
Yes.
Okay.
So we as a community should also
thing,
give away all raids.
To an extent, yes.
If you're going to do it, this means we have enough raid groups going that we can help people learn.
Yes,
and
correct.
But that's what I'm saying. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a difference between designing the game to make it be free for everybody,
correct,
versus the community helping everybody to be able to succeed.
Yes.
So I don't like those are completely two different things, and how you guys are wording it made it sound like you guys were saying that we should make the game free.
No, we can. No, I mean that's
which is not the case.
I don't. No, we can't even do that.
That's kind of what I was interpreting. Yeah.
No,
I think maybe that's what Sneb was saying. That's what I heard.
Yeah, but we can't even do that though, because we can't change the game, right? I'm just saying that we should make it that way by just making people win. Pretty much.
Keep Suwon's difficulty the way it is, but then lead everybody to victory by showing them how to do it.
Yes, even if they don't care.
Eventually, they'll figure out how booms and buffs work.
You're missing the nuance of what Teapot said. Teapot was saying that we should carry the people that don't even want to engage with anything, and that they should just win.
Even
and
if
I am
they don't care.
disagreeing with that because there is no value in winning if you haven't sort of had to do any work for it. Like they just win and they go, okay, never do it again. Got what I wanted. Goodbye. Right? So I don't feel like that's good.
It's better than the alternative.
And for Teapot's side, it's just like, hey, for the people that are contributing and helping out and want to do it, we're helping them out. And for the people that don't want to contribute on an open world meta event and kind of just want to leech the reward, there's actually not a lot you could do about that because it's open world. Like, people do that all the time with Chalk. Like, there's some people with, like, 40, 50 accounts that they just leech Chalk Arents constantly. Well, eventually they may grow to...
If they don't have to... But if they don't have to engage because we're carrying people through it all the time, then they won't.
Good. They don't want to.
We can't really they don't want to do anything about that.
Yeah. They're not...
That's my point. Is like, why is that a healthy thing?
Because right now, you've got the exact same thing happening, except those same players are failing and they're upset. I'm saying that we don't even... We're not going to check... Obviously, we try to get more people to engage, but the key thing is we change it from players aren't engaging and they're failing, and we change it to players aren't engaging and they're winning. Right? And then, I actually think they'll have a much higher chance to engage if they win, by the way. But more than that, after that, it also means there's a lot less friction in the community because people aren't going to be like super frustrated. There's less frustration about content. And it also means that, you know, you're going to be in contact with a lot of people who are going to be interested in potentially getting involved in that. That's where you could meet people like that. That's where you grow the community.
Sneb.
I want to quickly address this thing about burnout, because I think this actually this is probably, in my opinion, the best argument against my position that I've heard, and I think it actually really deserves to be addressed. So
yeah, address it.
It does definitely. It's obviously going to put a lot of pressure on leaders, but I think the key there is trying to have a healthy level of engagement with the game and trying to promote more leaders, right? And giving players the tools to take leadership positions in the game and then teach others, and make sure that you have enough people, right? That it's not going to put too much pressure on one individual, right? And by the way, I completely agree that Dragon's Den has a lot of design issues. You know, I think it should be way more like Tequatl, right? Where, you know, like the further you get in it, the more rewards you get, right? Instead of like being a very binary or nothing. Yeah, there's a huge amount of design issue there. The pre-event is, I guess it's kind of like, oh, it's epic, right? But it does feel really, really bad if you lose. If you've been doing like a 2-hour investment, yeah, that fucking sucks, right? But
yeah, like, you know what it's like? It's like if you watched all of the Lord of the Rings, but in the end, like, an orc just like threw an axe and instantly killed Frodo and Sam. That's what it feels like.
Why did the eagles just drop the ring into the volcano? That's it.
No. And then the ring is just taken back, and that's like it just ends. That's what it would be like.
And yes, AX did quit, but he didn't quit because he got burned out, Zelex. He quit because he doesn't like ArenaNet's decisions. That's a really big difference. That's a huge difference there. Like, a lot of the people who have been grinding from Hardstuck are actually still going since EOD, actually. AX, he quit because he does not like the design decisions that ArenaNet has made with regards to Dragon's End, the PvE metagame, and also strike missions. So, again, that's why he quit the game, which, by the way, is perfectly reasonable. That, you know, if you don't like what ArenaNet's done, hey, that's fair enough, right? But it wasn't because he got burned out of leading people. He was actually grinding insanely hard. He was playing, like, every single day, full Metatrain and Dragon's End. He was insane. But he didn't like the fact that they nerfed, they nerfed Suwon, and also he didn't like the fact that they strike missions are the way they are. He wanted basically raids, right? He wanted raids, not strikes, which is fair, by the way. That's not an invalid criticism of ArenaNet, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the problem is that I just believe in people's potential too much, and I believe that people are way more capable than just leeching. I think people can do lots. Everyone's got a different ceiling, but I think we have the opportunity to help people a lot more. And so when people leech, I'm just really disappointed because I know that they're capable of more than that. It's just so unhealthy for the game to think we have to keep it on life support by carrying people through. I'd much rather have and maybe we're basically saying the same thing, and if I say it in a different way, I'll be more okay with that. What you want to do is empower people, right? Instead of being like, yeah, we're going to carry people through and we don't care if you win or lose. No, we do care if they engage. We really care because we really need them to engage if we want more difficult content. So what I'd rather think like is, hey, we're going to help you get this and enable you to do more. If right now you're not there yet, that's okay. But like, we're going to help you.
Here's the title for the YouTube video, like the most aggressive hour-long agreement session ever. Because I actually think because here's the big thing that I'm saying. We agree.
I just don't think I just think you articulate it in a way that I don't like because I think people can interpret. Yeah, I
want to go one step further. That's my thing.
Hold on.
I want to go further. Inks in the chat as well.
This is why Sneb works in the front office of Hardstuck. What he doesn't know is out back of the building, there's a large hole. And one day, the Darrens and the Wills, you know, me and them have to take a walk out back.
Oh my God.
And then the stock price of Teapot Superglue goes up. But the front office, Sneb, is great because we're churning out more and more leaders. So that's a good thing.
So
real quick. Look, I want to directly address that. I want to
get devoured. I don't really care because I still stand by those principles. They're like really important values to me, right?
Okay,
I think that people are capable of much more than they think, and that if we just allow people to sort of leech the event and don't say anything, that we're really just hurting the community in general. So I don't think it's good to encourage people to leech. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
I'm not encouraging people.
I think Teapot just wants to be. He's not encouraging the leeching. I think he's just saying that we should still do it, even if people are leeching. Like we should still be doing it even if people are leeching because we can't do much about them. But
it's not like you're walking around and promoting leeching. But the problem is that if we just carry people through all the time, in effect, we're promoting leeching, right? I mean, I was training all these raids. And people said, well, I'm just not going to do it unless it's with you because I know I'll be successful.
Well, the thing is, by that definition...
Right? We want them to go out and be successful alone.
Okay, well, here's the thing. By that definition, if you ever do an open world event and you don't have private tag and you don't map hop, you are encouraging leeching. And I would agree with that. I would agree with that to an extent, by the way, Sneb. But I just don't think that essentially allowing or enabling leeching is necessarily bad. We shouldn't even use that term. Look, if this goes on YouTube and we use that term, we're gonna get fucked.
Even having this conversation and being like, yeah, we're gonna like. Look, if people that don't participate at all, we're just going to carry them through. I just don't think that we should promote that in any way because we want people to be engaged in Hardstuck. Wasn't there like a whole thing in moderation about some people that were leeching events and how we had to like warn them and stuff?
I don't think he's talking about Hardstuck. I think he's talking about the randoms in an open world map.
Well, yes. You're missing what I'm saying, though. What I'm saying is that by having this conversation and saying that we're okay with leeching people or with people that are leeching, that we're tacitly saying that it's fine.
Well, yeah,
you
you
have
know
to
what?
be careful about how you
I need a
communicate
bullet.
these things.
I need a bullet in real life so I can bite that. Yes, I am saying that. I am saying, yeah, sure, it's fine. In open world, I'm okay with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with not really wanting to perform well in open world. And I think that you're saying that we should teach people, and I'm 100% there. I'm going to take it a step further and say, you know what? Go ahead.
You
has
agree
no
with Teapot
desire
just a
to
little
improve,
aggressively, that's
right?
all.
Okay,
Yeah,
so, go ahead, Sam.
Somebody has no desire to learn, and they don't want to do anything, and they just want to be carried through. We should not encourage that at all. Like, those people, you want to try to empower them to change because it's not good teamwork or team play. Ultimately it's a multiplayer game, right? And they're going to continually have problems if that's their mentality, right?
Here's my vision, Sneb. Here's what I want to happen, right? I'm imagining an army, a platoon of Wills and Darrenses, okay? That's the plural of Darrens with the S. Darrenses, right? There's loads of them. They're everywhere, right? And every single map they do, boom, subgroups. They're leading. They're doing like a copy pasta into the chat, telling people what to do. They're fucking blasting, right? But also at the same time, everyone's welcome. And yeah, there are a few people who basically are doing nothing, doing 0 DPS, hard leeching, if you want to call it that, getting, not barely even hitting the boss. And I'm saying, you know what? Good. Those players are getting through it and they're having fun. And when they do Dragon's End, yeah, sure, there's like 10 people who are below 1k DPS. But you know what? Hell yeah. Darren's going, you know what? Try and take quickness if you can, take alacrity if you can, take spirits, take banners. He's juicing. He's saying, boom, take this, take that, go for the tail. Here's a portal, try and use a portal. He's doing all this try-hard stuff. Do you think people are really going to interpret that as essentially endorsing leeching? Because that is the vision for what I have. That's what I want to happen. There's no way that could be
I do agree with Butter
leeching,
Peanut's comment.
Yeah,
that's
Butter Peanut is like encapsulating a big point of mine.
Yeah. So those people, if they're choosing to not contribute as much as they can, and they're a little bit being part of the problem, they shouldn't complain when the event fails because they decided to stand there and attack. So that's a separate issue than if we allow leeching or not. Like, if those people are going to complain, then those people should be blasted. Actually,
if we enable those people to win all the time, and then a commander in Hardstuck decides they're not running the meta event anymore, and then that person fails, and they go to the forum, they have no right to complain.
Yeah, they have no right to complain.
Let me try it again. I'm going to reword what I said again. We're going round again. Like, my goal is to make people able to access the content while not changing their playstyle.
Well, then at that point, why don't we just not make... I think that ultimately, somebody in chat's right. Ultimately, what this means then is that you want Suwon to be as absolutely accessible to these people as possible. And then if you want a challenge, there should be a Suwon CM in an instance.
That would
well, there
be,
already is a Suwon easy mode.
That would be one way to do it, but why don't we just create this environment where everyone can do it with our community?
I mean, that would attract people into the community, and hopefully they'll eventually start actually participating.
And look, right now, Dragon's End,
because people hate that. Because
no, they don't.
The number of people that no, the number of people on social media and stuff where you'll say, yeah, like if you're struggling with this, just join Hardstuck, and they're like, I shouldn't have to join a community to beat a meta event.
Yeah,
that's what's going on.
So the way you counter this is you do it so much that you have so many leaders and so many people that you just always end up in a map like that. Which, by the way, is very doable, because how many Dragon's End maps are there running right now? What, 3 or 4 tops, right? And right now, it's not actually that much of a big ask to have enough people who could lead that every single time. The key is building enough leaders and enough people who can basically guarantee success that you don't have to join the community. The community is essentially so big that you can just hop onto any map and it will succeed because there will be someone there who knows how it works. Simply, I'm just saying weight of numbers, like pure weight of numbers, statistically making it so you always end up on a good map. which is very that sounds pretty intense, but it actually isn't, because again, there aren't that many maps going at the same time. I mean, maybe like 4 Dragon's Ends, maybe at the same time. I doubt even that, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even saying to change the people. I'm saying don't give them a false idea about what the content is, because if anything happens, they're just going to complain about it anyway. So keeping them on some sort of unsustainable life support is not a good idea. I would rather, like, obviously get people involved. When you're on a map, if there are people that aren't that engaged, just try to encourage them to engage. And if they don't, it's not like you can do anything.
Yes.
But at the same time, we can't be like, all right, community, we have to carry the Dragon's End so that they make more. Because then when the next thing comes out, you just have to have more and more people. Like, it just is never going to end. It's this like thing that you have to constantly keep up.
Yeah.
It's better that people, it's better to design things in a way that cater to people's different play styles, and then people understand that there are some parts of the game that aren't designed for particular play styles and others that are. Like, if you don't like being on a team, then maybe playing 5 or 10% content isn't for you, right?
But the thing is,
if you
here's
only
my issue
like
with
playing
this.
solo, well.
But then the thing is that every single time there's an open world map, the exact same conversation happens in reverse, Sneb. And then you just have to say that, open world isn't for me, right? And this content is face roll easy, and that just means, it's just not for you. And that's true, but that sucks. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that just kind of it? Like, I don't really know what to say to that. Like, PvP just isn't for me. World versus world just isn't for me.
Thing is, I just want more content.
And every time there's an update, I can go and try it, but it still might not be for me. And that might change because people change and evolve and whatever, right? But isn't it okay if some stuff isn't designed for you, or that if or designed for certain play styles, right?
This is true, but it's that. I feel like we're completely wasting so much potential here. Like, basically, we're saying that we would rather have every single open world boss not be for us than essentially slightly give people the wrong idea about how hard the content is by kind of nudging people in the right direction. Like, we're saying we're okay with never having ever again an engaging open world boss, because we won't break our principle and give people a bit of a leg up and essentially do a bit of carrying, right? That's the trade we're making. We're going to say, you know what? Fuck it. We'd rather never have it again. To me, that's insanity. Like, I would never take that trade.
I don't think we'll get it again. It's kind of the thing. I think that they'll stick to doing like the strike missions as the really difficult content, and honestly, I thought those were pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, do you want the 50-man
I hope that they do
content?
more stuff that are like triple trouble and stuff, where it's more organizationally difficult, not necessarily DPS difficult or anything, because I think that'll still keep some people engaged and it'll be kind of fun, right? But I don't think we're gonna get any like DPS checks like Suwon, right?
Is Suwon a DPS check?
Not anymore at all. And it wasn't a super hard DPS check before, but it was hard enough where it really prohibited a lot of open world players.
Thing is, I like Dragonstorm. I like Twisted Marionette. I like Suwon. I like the EOD metas in general. They're pretty hype. I like it. You know, I'm about it. I feel the energy, you know? I'm feeling the energy. But the thing is that I'm struggling to see a reality where that ever exists unless we really help people by teaching people to lead stuff, teaching as many people as possible core mechanics, and then basically accepting that there's going to be a little bit of carrying done along the way. And that's okay.
Do you like this might not be comparable, but do you like the EOD metas more than the EOD strikes?
That's a good question. That's a super good question. What would I rather have? Would I rather have if I could only pick one, Suwon or strike missions?
If they were only going to continue to make one of those two forever, you either get strikes and CMs, or Suwon level and Dragon Stand level metas. The other one is deleted, not deleted from the game, but deleted from future production.
Unnerfed? If we're assuming unnerfed Suwon, I think I'd actually say Suwon. If I wanted to raid, I'd play WoW, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Right?
Unnerfed Suwon. To be clear,
but
unnerfed Suwon, not nerfed Suwon.
I think it's just such an interesting problem because really unnerfed Suwon is just this in-between open world and like instance content in a sense because it was difficult enough that people were like hard gatekeeping their groups and stuff, right? But that's not the spirit of open world.
It isn't.
So,
but
at least traditionally, that's not the culture of open world, right? So when
Would you
people
say hard content is open world, is the spirit of open world though?
No, it wasn't, right? But it could be, but it's just such a culture shift that it made it very shocking, right? It was like a culture shock. People got there and they were like, what the heck is this? This is different, you know? And
No,
so,
but it did, for a brief moment, it bridged the gap from open world players and like endgame players, because endgame players now had a reason outside of their daily let me try to get a chalk egg sack moment to actually do the metas. I mean, that first week, many of us were doing
it was so good.
Dragon Stand basically off cooldown. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
There was one day, like a Saturday, I think, where you and I did 5 or so in a row together.
yeah, it was good. It was fun. But I just don't think that's the kind of content that most people are happy with because of the difficulty level. Because it goes so against the culture of the open world that they know and understand. And it puts these invisible gates for them that they don't like because people just want to chill in open world or whatever. The issue is that it's so funny. I'm arguing that, but at the same time, like I would be a big proponent of having the harder content. I just think that most people don't like it, which is evident in the way that people talked about it on social media and or the forums, right? And still continue to. They don't like the level of difficulty associated with it.
I agree. That wasn't really the question, though. That was like, it was a personal preference question. But this is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but
here's
like,
where
it doesn't
I
even matter
slide
what my
in.
preference is,
Here's where
'cause
I
it's
slide
not
in.
the majority.
Because do you know what we do then? Check this out. Check this out, Sneb. We make it so that the difficulty level is artificially lower by juicing everyone.
Like, I want to do those events personally because I want to feel like I'm part of a 50-person team. If 10 of us go in there and carry the other 40, sure, we might get the kill, but I don't feel like I'm in a 50-person team. I feel like I wasted my time dragging dead weight over my shoulder.
You guys low man raids. You guys can't even bother to play with 10 people anymore. You're basically doing the same thing already.
We low man raids because we only have 5 people in the guild, okay? And they made Boons
I was
5.
never invited to join you guys for a 6-man. I take offense at that statement.
Well, because there's no point in doing a 6-man because ArenaNet ruined Boons.
Ouch.
It's either 5 or 10. Because everything's done multiples of 5 now.
You're the hand kiter. You're just off the groove, and then you just give the 5 to the other people.
But yeah, I don't know. A large team event like a Dragon's End feels special because when you come together as a large team,
But you think, look at that, it's
that's
already
cool.
Listen, if you looked at the meter in open world, Isa, you're already hard carrying whenever you fucking play a goddamn meta event. Like, especially on NA, right? Like, you know, like if you go to chat Garrett right now, there's gonna be like 3 people who are doing 20k DPS, and there's like 20 people doing 3k DPS. That is reality, okay?
Listen, I'm gonna let you in on a secret.
What
on NA, I get better boons in open world metas than in raids and pugs.
Big. True. I like that. That's good.
That's not even only true about open world stuff.
So,
if you go into raids, you could be on a support build and still be top DPS in most groups.
Here's the thing.
Correct.
Right? We all, basically every open, okay, Sneb actually, let's resolve. I want resolution because Sneb is my brother. He is my brother, my son, and my father at the same time, okay? I must have union with him.
What?
Okay?
That's awkward.
Right?
What kind of incestuous family is this?
Time
Sneb.
travel. Had
What,
Sneb,
do, what do
your mom.
teapots and geese do together?
Would you agree that most open world maps right now are essentially hard carried?
Depends what you mean by that, because some the bar is so low that you don't really need to be carried, if that makes sense. Like if you just have enough people all doing 5k, then they will pass. But if we're talking things like I don't know, like Suwon and stuff, then yeah, there's a minority of the players that do a majority of the work.
Exactly. So all I'm saying is that we should do that for we should teach people to do that for one more map, and that map is Dragon's End.
But I mean, you don't have to teach people to do that. It's already, like you said, it's already happening. But
Yeah,
these
we need-
people,
now-
a
now
lot
we
of
need-
them are
now-
sick of it.
Now we need to just
I mean,
slightly
that's why I don't
increase
do
it.
Drakkar anymore. Is because it became unfun after a while, because I was trying to like beat our time. It's not like I was super competitive about it, but at some point, people just joined because they knew that it was gonna die, and so they would just join and not really engage or participate in any way. And for me, it died because it was like, oh well, we can't beat the time if I can't get people to participate. And by
Yep.
participate, I mean just like engage in the meta, just not stand at the top of the cave. And so I would frequently have 10 to 20 people standing at the top of the cave, and then it wasn't fun anymore. And I think that people experience that same thing when they do Dragon's End or Dragon's Stand or whatever else, right? I think people eventually burn out of leading open metas because it's hard to keep up that feeling of engagement.
And that's why we need the ultimate engine, the ultimate factory, pumping out leaders.
Speaking of
Yeah,
which, there's
but
supposed to be
you
like
also
a
have to be
Commanders
sensitive to those
Dragon
Look at
Nest
the-
competition.
not
look at
run
this-
them into the ground.
Look at this Discord, Sneb. Look at the Discord right now. Stream 1, Stream 2, Community 1, Community 3, Community 4, Community 5, Community 7. Imagine if that went up to Community 70. That's what we want, Sneb. That's what we want.
Yeah, but I don't think Sneb's idea
I'm not arguing against
is
that.
mutually exclusive to what
It isn't.
What you just said.
The thing is, I'm not going to lie, this entire conversation actually hasn't been, it's been a very aggressive agreement. Me and Sneb actually agree.
Yeah, it is.
We
Like,
agree.
We're agreeing. We're just
we
the way that we
agree-
present it is different.
We agree 99% on this. The difference is that I want to go 1% further. Okay?
And I'm saying that 1%
Yeah,
further
Sneb is
has
saying it's too far.
social
Yeah,
consequences.
he is. That's what this argument is always been about. It's always been about that last 1%, right? That's what we're quibbling about currently. On the other 99%, I actually think me and Sneb are 1-to-1 in agreement. I think.
I'd agree with that.
We've just had like an hour and a half argument about a very minor nuance.
Yeah. I actually have to go here pretty quick too, so I guess it's a good time to.
We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Sneb, you have the final word in this heated debate.
the heated agreement. Yeah, no, I think that it's important to enable people to clear the content, but I think that there is this line where if you consistently do that, you either burn out the leaders and they don't want to run it anymore because they don't feel like people. My dog is disagreeing now.
Dogega.
Because they don't like. Because they don't feel like they're getting the engagement from the group and that people are progressing. Or you're giving people sort of the wrong idea about the content, and maybe the content just really isn't designed for that type of game or that type of game style that they want to engage in. And by enabling them to do that, you're setting them up for disappointment later if they try to do similar content. So I think it's about sort of setting expectations and allowing people to understand those. But you absolutely want to include people. Like, look, if people are in your map, you want to be like, yo, get in. Now my daughter is here too.
Nice.
You absolutely want to help them. Gosh. Oh, hi, Goose. Goose wants to say hi. 1 second. Want to say hi?
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Goose.
She said hi stream. I don't know if you could hear, but yeah.
we won.
When is Goose going to start leading Dragon's End? Then?
True.
Soon, when we do the 1,000 Dragon's End in a week.
Yeah, we're gonna need all the bodies we can get